What's up, Okage Puya here. Another video, Bayern related. The season ended. I've had some time to digest how terrible that season went for Bayern in the end, the pain of the Real Madrid loss. And, perfect time to go to the tier list maker site and let's rank every single Bayern player from this season in terms of their performance. I got five categories. I have top performer, great, average, do better, and trash. So without wasting you guys' time, let's get into it. It wasn't a good season. This is going to be a whole lot of mid, but I have to keep it 100% honest with you guys. It's going to be a whole lot of mid. And yeah, honesty is what breeds success. If we're not honest with ourselves now, this club goes nowhere. So full honesty in this video. Bunasar, trash, leaving the club this year. I think he played maybe 10 minutes this season, did nothing, never really made an impact. Don't really know how 2 years ago he was trash at Bayern, but then was the best right back at the AFCON when he won with Senegal and Mane. I don't know what happened there when he went back to Africa and played like he did, but he never showed that for Bayern ever. You could argue he never got a fair chance, but I don't know. I think he got chances and he never, ever impressed, in my opinion. Brian Zaragoza, Tuchel messed up here. I don't know why you brought him 6 months earlier than he was supposed to, because you brought him because of Coman's injury and everything, and you didn't even play him. You didn't give him proper chances to mesh into the team and to make impact on the field. And, because of that, and when you did eventually get his chances at the end of the season, towards the end of the season, Brian just looked a little too desperate to make an impact out there. And that kind of resulted in unimpressive performances, unconvincing. I think he got at least an assist, from some of his appearances. So he was trashed this season, but I'm excited. I think, when he has a better role next season under company and more game time, he'll be a useful player for us in the Bundesliga or Champions League. But this season, just trash for me. Choupo-Moting, just like Bunasar, leaving. His impact this season was a little better, but for Choupo-Moting's standards at Bayern for the last 3-4 years, his impact off the bench this season was nowhere near as good as the other the other seasons. Nowhere as good. He showed a steep decline this year. The only thing I could remember Choupo-Moting did this season for Bayern was he gave the assist to Harry Kane for the game winner against Leipzig. Where he controlled it beautifully, Eric Dyer's long ball, and set it up for Kane. So that's the only thing I remember Choupo-Moting did of significance and importance this season. Got so many chances, underwhelmed so many times. Trash. Thank you for your service, Choupo-Moting. Fuck off. Kingsley Coman, do better. And I'm going to put I'll put Kingsley Coman average because in the first half of the season when he wasn't injured, surprise, he was good, taking guys on, impact on the field, doing his job. Obviously, we're always asking for more GA from him, goals and assists, output, but it just seems like he can never do it. But second half of the season, injured again, man. In the key stages of the season, injured again. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, I have to hold that against him, dude. You weren't there for the keeps. I'm telling you, our chances against Real Madrid go up if Kingsley Coman is playing. He was a huge miss for us. Wasn't there. Average out. A good season. Good first half of the season with non-existent second half. You get average. I think that's fair for Kingsley Coman. I want to put him in do better because I'm sorry, Coman, you're 27, 28 years old right now. Your output should be a lot higher. So I'm interested to see how Vincent Kompany will do now that he's going to probably play into the attacking style, and that will probably help Coman. But Coman, man, you need to do better for next season. Alphonso Davies, first man in the do better category. I feel bad for Alfonso, and I'm one of the Bayern fans that thinks he should not be sold to Real Madrid. We have to extend him for another 3-4 years because he's young, guys. He's 22, 23 years old. He's not going to be a perfect left back. And to be honest, he was in and out of the team all year long. He didn't get a set run of games consistently this season. And don't forget, when he did get a set run of games from, I think it was December, January, he was great for us. And remember, he was really hitting form at the end of January. Remember his right foot shot outside the box against Wolfsburg. He was hitting form and unfortunately got injured. That set him back three steps back. Came back and bro, he scored that goal against Real Madrid and he almost got us to a Champions League final. I think people are too harsh on him. He does need to do better though. He wasn't playing that well in the most of the first half of the season. So Alphonso Davies, do better, bro. Please extend Bayern. Extend. 3-year contract. Do it, please. We're going to regret it if we don't. Matthias de Ligt, first player in the great category, wasn't getting into the team in the first half of the season. Wrong, because Upamecano and Kim Min-jae were playing great, right? But Kim Min-jae gets shunned out of the team after Asia Cup. Upamecano has that 1 week where he gets 2 red cards. De Ligt is in the team. And, bro, De Ligt was pretty flawless, in my opinion. Huge in the Champions League against Arsenal and Real Madrid. Showed why he should be a starter. He's that defensive leader we need. You know, we were linked to Araujo a couple months ago for that defensive leader. I'm sorry, dude. De Ligt is a defensive leader. People are underrating him now these days, and they think he's some trash defender, bro. No, he's not. Matthijs de Ligt has probably been our best, most consistent center back the last 2 seasons. So yeah, De Ligt, great performances from him in the second half of the season. That puts him into the great category. And Eric Dyer, the guy, I clowned Eric Dyer so hard. I said he would fail. I said it made no sense. I had no faith. Go to my Twitter. I said it. This guy's trash. He shouldn't be at the club. But bro, this is a case where it shows if a manager really wants a player and is keen on him, it probably means they know how to use him and they have a plan. And Eric Dyer, Tuchel had a plan for him, and he succeeded, man. Eric Dyer was fantastic. I think on form, he's the best English center back, but he didn't get into the England team for the Euros, which is shocking to me. He was playing fantastically, man, against Arsenal and Real Madrid. So good. No mistakes, man. No mistakes. And yeah, Eric Dyer, sorry for the disrespect, but great performances from him once he solidified his place in the team. Ball playing out of the back, fantastic. You know, he can be slow at times, but he never really got exposed for his speed. One of the only times I can remember Eric Dyer got exposed for his speed was again the Leverkusen 3-0 loss. So Eric Dyer, good performances this season. I'm interested to see how Company will utilize him. It's going to be a more attacking system, not as conservative. Will that fit Dyer? Either way, I think Dyer next season, he'll be a good center back to have in the squad, at least. And everyone in the squad seems to like him, so good character to have in the dressing room. Serge Gnabry, he needs to do better. Was injured all season, so he didn't really have a fair shot this season. And what I do have to say about Serge Gnabry, that nobody else is saying is, you have to, bro, he cares about the club. He really does. He sacrificed his hamstrings and rushed his recovery to give us a better chance, even a slightly better chance against Arsenal and Real Madrid. So I really have to give Serge Gnabry respect there. He literally sacrificed his hamstrings for the squad. It shows that he really cares about the team and wants to succeed. And, you know, he was injured on and off. And when he came back in the spring from his injury, the guy was scoring in almost every game. Okay? He looked good. So Gnabry, you know, people were putting him at their sell lists in the summer. I'm not too sure anymore. I don't know. It's tough. I feel like he still has it in him. I seriously do. I really feel like he still has it in him. Can Company get it out? I don't know. But injured throughout most of the season. When he did play before the springtime, he was on or off. Wasn't really too good. Seemed to lack ideas. I remember for the Germany versus Austria game back in November, he was so ass in that game. The worst performance I ever see him put in. It wasn't in a Bayern shirt, but it was terrible. Serge Gnabry, you need to do better. Rafa Guerreiro, I'm going to put Guerreiro in average. He was struggling to get into the team in the first half of the season, which didn't make sense to me because, Tuchel, this is your signing. He's one of the more technical players in this team. And eventually he did get into the team. He did score a couple clutch goals this season as well in the Bundesliga. And when he started getting to the team in February, March time this year, for the season, we finally got to see that Rafa Guerreiro from Dortmund more and more. The technical ability, the press resistance, the ability in tight spaces. I remember him and Mazraoui against Arsenal in the second leg Allianz Arena. Fantastic performance, Rafa Guerreiro. Unfortunately, he got injured, is not going to the Euros. But yeah, promising signs for Guerreiro. Hopefully, under Company next season, we see more of that. Because that could be huge for Bayern, having a technical player like that in the game. Harry Kane, probably the only, I'm not sure yet, but I think the only person that'll go on top performer. He scored the goals. He did what he needed to do. We can't blame him for losing the Bundesliga. The team failed. Tuchel failed. In the Champions League, I wish he did a little more against Real Madrid. I wish, but he did what he could. His back was hurt throughout the whole second half of the season. I'm sorry. And a lot of our key players were playing through injury for the entire second half of the season. So that has to be taken into account. But Harry Kane, 36 goals. Top Bundesliga goal scorer, top Champions League goal scorer, doing what he does. He's a top performer, man. Remember the halfway line goal? People are revising and saying he was trash and failure. No, he's not, man. The team failed. Tuchel failed. He did not fail this season. Top performer for Harry Kane. You also Kimmich. Now, for going off the beginning of the season, bro, do better. Genuinely, do better. When we started the season, he started all right, but you could see his ideas in midfield were kind of lacking. he just lost that juice. And I think it's because he's getting bogged down by his midfield partners and he's having to do too much, so he's not able to focus more on the attacking phases of the game. But he was running out of midfield ideas. It wasn't ideal for what Tuchel wanted in the midfield, I guess, which makes no sense because the season previous against Manchester City, he single-handedly took on the peak Manchester City midfield of Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, and all those guys, Foden, by himself while Goretzka just jogged around. So I don't know why Tuchel couldn't get that out of him again this season in the midfield, but when he moved to right back, Joshua Kimmich was fantastic. Fantastic, man. Joshua Kimmich was giving me 2019 flashbacks. Him and Carvajal, probably the best right backs in the world right now. Defensive solidity. Yes, I'm saying defensive solidity. He got cooked for 15 minutes against Vinicius Jr. in the second leg of the semifinal, and people think he's trash. No, he's not. He pocketed Mbappe, he pocketed Martinelli and Trossard and all those guys. Kimmich, great. And he was more influential at right back when he moved there. So it was a great move to do in the mid-season for Kimmich. Really revived his season, and he's going to the Euros now in form. Great season for me, performance-wise, for Joshua Kimmich. Konrad Laimer. And I'm going to put Konrad Laimer behind Guerrero, and I'm going to try to order the categories by ranking in the categories as well. I put Laimer behind Guerrero in average. I think, like the case is with a lot of these players, first half of the season still warming up for the players that weren't really starters in the first half of the season for Tuchel. We had our genuine 11 that we would always play, and it was working. Laimer was in and out of the team. He was getting a lot of game time, but he wasn't really showing us Leipzig Laimer or what he could really do, the extent to his abilities. But I'm sorry, dude, against Arsenal and Real Madrid, wow, midfield monster. And he wasn't just running, tackling, distribution, breaking up play, ball carrying. Fantastic. Bro, he outplayed Real Madrid's midfield, in my opinion, over 2 legs. Seriously. So, huge performances for Laimer. Dude, if Company can get that out of him next season, dude, we have a player. And people won't realize that we have Laimer and he could be a weapon, but I realize it. And if Company can get that out of him, bro, we are cooking next season with Laimer in midfield. Goretzka. I'll put him above Konan, behind Laimer. Again, wasn't really, on and off in the first half of the season. Once Kimmich was moved to right back, Goretzka was given the midfield role. And what Goretzka's midfield role that kind of revived this season as well. He was essentially a more defensive midfielder, a defensive-minded number 8, but he would also shift in and out of center back depending on the phases of the play. That really fit his role. I think he's lost some of that technical ability or the presence he has in the box, midfield runs, goal-scoring ability. And he has the legs and the physicality to play that more defensive midfielder role, shifting in and out of center back. And that fit him. His performances did improve towards the tail end of the season. And yeah, I'll have to put him on average. I think that's fair for Leon Goretzka. Nosar Mazraoui, I'll put him behind Guerrero. Now, with Mazraoui, we have a guy proven now. He could play high-level left back and as a high-level right back. And he showed at left back against Real Madrid, Arsenal at tail end of the season. Again, like the cases with all these players, tail end of the season, they showed their quality as we try to make a Champions League run. He has the ability to be a starter for Bayern. And he started to show it more and more. And for Mazraoui, ever since he came to Bayern, the issue was he would always get injured and couldn't get a run of games. But when he gets a run of games for Bayern, he usually is one of our better players. Comfortable playing out of the back, especially against Arsenal and Real Madrid. Good defender. Not the best, but he's a good enough. He's better than most fullbacks at defending. We know the defending standard is pretty low for fullbacks now, but he is better than most. And yeah, he can play on the left and right. Very useful. I think overall, you have to average everything out over season. I think his performances were average. If he played all season and got a run of games from August to May, I think he could probably be in the great category. I really believe in him and his abilities, but I have to put him in average. Kim Min-jae. Now, this guy, if we're going off of the first half of the season, I keep saying that. Kim Min-jae was a top performer from August to December. 100% was a top 3 center back in the world, living up to his nickname, the monster in the back, controlling everything, couldn't get past him, monster in the back. Just his nickname, monster. But after the Asian Cup, and I don't really know why, and I'd like to maybe a few years down the line understand what happened, After the Asian Cup, he lost his place in the team, never really made it back. De Ligt and Dyer became this preferred center back duo, and he barely played. He barely played, Kim Min-jae. And when he did, Tuchel didn't play him at all, and then he puts him in a semifinal first leg and makes 2 mistakes. He had a great game in that game, but he made 2 big mistakes, and that's all you get remembered for as a defender. So Kim Min-jae, in the end, average season. I feel like it's harsh because you guys, people forget recency bias. He was so good from August to December. He really was. But he was just ghosted out of the team second half of the season. So unfortunately, that puts him in the average category. I'd probably put him, down there because he had literally no impact in the second half of the season. Thomas Muller, I'm going to put Thomas Muller at the end of average for now. He showed this season for sure. What we learned 100% about Thomas Muller is for the high level games, he most likely shouldn't be our first option. 4 games like against Real Madrid. He had his uses against Arsenal. Like he had moments against Arsenal and Real Madrid, but we saw overall in the higher stakes games, more fast-paced games, his play is just a little too slow. But I'm going to put him in average because he still was, creating and showing us the qualities of Thomas Muller. And your mid-table Bundesliga clashes against the bottom table teams. He was still showing us the quality and that he deserves to be at Bayern still. I think next season might be his last, if I'm being honest, but yeah, average season for Thomas Muller. Definitely in the future, not a guy that's first on the team sheet for the big occasions, I think. Definitely would be a dangerous player to bring off the bench, though. Don't get me wrong. Jamal Musiala. I'm going to put Jamal Musiala in great category, probably ahead of Kimmich. The only thing with Musiala is, guys, and every Bayern fan will tell you, and anybody who watches Musiala and is a fan of him will tell you, output, output, output. If Musiala can just increase his output, he's in the top performer 100%. But over on his overall play, easy on the eye, always getting the ball, trying to create things for his teammates, dribbling players, turning players. Yeah, he was doing his thing all season. It's just playing devil's advocate to that point, though. When Harry Kane's in your team, can you really get that many goals? I think you can. You could get a couple more. Musiala's finishing wasn't the most reliable this season as well. So Musiala was great for the majority of the season. Just output, need to be more clinical in scenarios where you're able to score. But yeah, Musiala, great future of Bayern, man. So yeah, I don't think some people were saying he's trash and everything this season. I don't believe that, bro. He was good. Just the output. He needs that output. And bro, if Musiala adds output to his game, I'm sorry, he's going to be a Ballon d'Or contender, 100%. That's just a fact. Neuer, there's this stupid agenda going around on Twitter saying Neuer, sell him, he's finished. I'm sorry, dude. Neuer is still top 3 goalkeeper in the world. His performances showed that this season. Yes, he made the mistake against Real Madrid. I understand, but it would have been 4-0 without him in that game. 3-4-0 without him in that game. So, yeah, man, I think Neuer is still top 3, for me, top 3 goalkeeper in the world. Him and Courtois and those guys are fighting for first place. I don't think there's a definite best goalkeeper in the world, but yeah, Neuer, I thought it was great. People disagree. I don't care. I think he was great this season. Alex Pavlovic, I'm going to put him in great. One of our most improved player this season, exploded onto the scene, used to be a ball boy. He's the future of this Bayern. Him and Musiala, man, my mouth is watering when I think of that future of Pavlovic and Musiala and who else Wirtz we could add to that, dude. My mouth is watering. Pavlovic comes into the team, something I have to give Tuchel huge credit for, believed in him, gave him games. And, bro, we saw this guy's press resistant, his passing range, pass accuracy. He's more of he's not a full-on defensive mid, but he was trying to play. He could play that role, definitely. The only thing about Pavlovic is obviously more experience. We need to get his physical abilities and his speed. We need to increase that just through training to the top level. He'll probably get it. But, man, Pavlovic, fantastic this season. He was so good against Real Madrid second leg. First Champions League knockout game start ever in the Bernabeu, and he put that performance on. I was thoroughly impressed this season from Alexander Pavlovic. I think he had a great season for himself. Peretz, man, no games. I'm not putting him in trash as to say he's trash, but I don't think he's a trash goalie, and I don't think he should be sold. He just didn't play any games. I think he got 10 minutes or something, 10, 20 minutes. I think maybe he played a cup game as well, but he's showing the qualities of a good goalie. I don't think he's the future Bayern goalie. I think he's just a medium class goalie we brought in to be third string, and he's young, so he'll accept that third string role. So yeah, Perret's trash, but I don't think he's a trash goalie. We just didn't see anything from him. Sasha Bowie, useless transfer, came in from Galatasaray, 30-something million. Shame we wasted a one-piece transfer announcement on him because he played a couple games. I honestly, deep down in my heart, I was not impressed by what I saw when he was playing. I really wasn't. And I just don't think his future is at Bayern. I think maybe he'll get one more season to prove himself with company, and we might just sell him off. Unimpressive. Ended up getting injured as well, so trash category for Bowie. Leroy. If we're going like him, if we're going off the first half of the season, Leroy Sané was world class. He was a top 10 player of the world, dribbling everyone, scoring, assisting. But his second half of the season was so fucking bad. So bad. I'm still going to put him at the top of, I'll probably put him second average. I'm sorry. You were so bad, Leroy Sané, in the second half of the season. Couldn't score. Took him 4 months to score a goal. Leroy Sané, man. I wish if he could just play like that the whole season, Leroy Sané would get Ballon d'Or shouts. I have no doubt about it. But he didn't. He didn't. And you saw his quality. The goal against Real Madrid. He could do shit like that. But he overcomplicates things for himself all the time. And I don't get it. Hopefully Company, a guy he's played with before, can really get him to have a fully consistent season next year. But I think, you have to put an average for how bad he generally was awful in the second half of the season. But you have to note that, like Musiala, like Kane, he was playing through a knee injury for the entire second half of the season, basically. So you have to give him respect for that. But still, the performances were the performances. He showed what he did on the field. It all comes down to an average rating for him. Bunassar shows up again. Let's just put him right next to the other one. Ulreich got some games when he was needed. He was all right. Do better, really. I'll put him up here. Better than Gnabry. Made key saves when he was playing in the Champions League. I remember he made some huge saves. So yeah, Sven Ulreich, put him there. Tarek Bushman, no games, injured. Will he even come back the same after all the injuries he's had? He's only 18, 19. We'll see. But yeah, Bushman, trash. Matthias Tell. I think Matthias Tell needs to do better. He has the mentality to play for Bayern. He does. He understands the club. He understands how to speak to the fans, the etiquette and everything. Nailed on with Matthias Tell. But I didn't think his impact was as much as it could have been off the bench. When he was getting chances to start, he wasn't impressing as much as I wanted him to. But I hope next season that changes. I think there's a ton of quality in Matthias Tell, future Bayern player. He has the mentality and quality to play for us and develop here and become a great player. He just needed to show it more off the bench. He did have games at the beginning of the season where, oh my God, goal, assist, saving Bayern in this game, saving Bayern in that game. But he didn't show it enough off the bench for me to give him average. I still have to put him in do better. We'll keep Tuchel for last. Upamecano, do better, bro. It's harsh. It's the life of the defender, but he was great. Like him and Kim were the center back duo from August to December. He was fantastic. He had that 1 week where he got a red card against Lazio and Bochum, and shit went downhill. Lost his place in the team again under Tuchel, like he did the year previous when he had the disaster classes against Man City. And Tuchel never really trusted him again, rightfully so. And unfortunately, Upamecano, that ultimately I have to put you in do better. You cannot keep having these massive mistakes. You need to learn from it, and hopefully, extended spells on the bench teach you that and drill that in your brain. And ultimately, guys, the manager, Thomas Tuchel, got us to a Champions League semifinal, but that Bundesliga form was so offensive. Awful. Dumpster performances in the Bundesliga. He was fantastic again. Bro, August to December, one loss, fantastic. We're cash money. But in the second half of the season, you drop what? 8 to 9. I think it was 8 or 9 losses. That is unacceptable as a Bayern Munich manager. And, I was pushing for him to stay because of the Champions League next season. And I think he could get this team to a final. But I'm sorry, I thought about it more, and I cannot tolerate that awful league form. Awful league form. Thomas Tuchel, taking all things into consideration, I'm putting you at the bottom of average. You got us to a Champions League semifinal, but for the Bundesliga standards we have, you were dog shit, bro. Absolute dog shit. That's my ratings for this season. Hopefully you guys, hold on, let me go back to it. You see this, you might think I was a little generous. No, for Bayern standards, and if we want to be Champions League winners and go back to being Bundesliga winners, we cannot have this many people on average. We cannot. For the Bayern standards and what we need to be fully successful, we need at least 5 more players in the great category. We need at least 2, 3, 4 players in top performer category. But unfortunately, I feel like this is a very accurate list. It's too many players in average, too many players in do better. And honestly, most of these players in trash are just squad players anyway. But we shouldn't have this many people in trash. The people in the squad players should be in do better. We shouldn't have this much trash. We shouldn't have this much do better, and we shouldn't have this much average. So, company man, with the attacking style, we know these players typically enjoy the attacking style more. I think he'll improve a lot of these players, and we'll play exciting football next season. We won't know entirely until the season starts. But listen, company, new project. I'm excited. Tuchel, sayonara. He'll probably go manage Manchester United or something. Probably go back to the Premier League. They like him over there. The English like Thomas Tuchel. So, yeah, that's the tier list. If you enjoyed the video, like it if you want. Subscribe. I don't care. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.